I like a confident idiot I love when Amy Poehler is like a confident idiot.
Yeah.
But when he does it, I'm just like, game over. I'm not interested in it.
I see that. Like, I don't know. I like Will Ferrell, but he's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go to a movie because he's in it.
No.
But there are movies he's in that I genuinely like.
I mean, are there things you guys actually will go to movies if someone's in? Because I don't think
sometimes there are a few people
I think I wouldn't have seen the Mission Impossible movie if it was not guys, I'm a Scientologist.
If it was not Tom Cruise.
Yeah, because that dude,
Wait, you're
that guy
a
is trying to kill it. No. It's
He was joking.
Well, that I think though is
thank
different.
you for that. You respect my acting abilities so much that my toss-off remark seemed convincing. You two cynics didn't believe me.
I did not buy it for 1 second.
Well, because part of me was like, I guess I don't know that much about Steven, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
I was talking to Claire right before I came here, and she was like,
Claire
"Who's
is
going to be?"
Steven's wife.
Yeah, and she was saying, "Who's going to be on the podcast?" And I was like, "It's going to be Yola." We're very excited because of the post. What's it going to be? What is the movie going to be? And she's like, I've seen her a couple of times. You guys might have like met in passing.
Yeah, we have.
And she's like,
she was at the wedding.
Well, so she's like, when I see her at the theater, I feel like she looks at me and then thinks like, who is that exactly? Oh, it's a person who's been to my wedding, but I don't know particularly well. I'm like, we're living in a crazy age. Welcome back to We Are Definitely Afraid of the Dark. This is the scary movie podcast for people that are scared of everything. My name is Stephen Smith. I'm scared of everything.
I'm Emma Holder, and I'm scared of the most things. You're not going to cut me, Kyle.
Well, Steven raised his hand to look like he was pointing at me, and I was like, that's not the order of operations, but I'll go. Oh, no, I won't. I'm Kyle Romero, and I am a big, brave boy.
We're sitting in a different order. We're recording in a new place this time, so it's also... You guys are off your games because we switched it up.
Yeah,
that was a weird criticism for me to come at you right out the gate.
Oh,
yeah, that
it's
seemed
all coming unraveling.
way too
we
sincere.
Hate each other.
This would be so exciting if we all openly loathed each other, but we're able to somehow go through this torturous process every week.
Emma's like, "What are you talking about? That's exactly what this podcast is."
We're just like Sex in the City. How they had to work together even though they hated each other.
Oh, yeah. The women. I was like, the characters?
Not the characters.
Did they actually openly hate each other?
Oh. We'll talk about it
I
after.
love that kind of thing because I would just say goodbye to the opportunity. Avoidant of confrontation that I'm like, I'm sure stage will support me, or I'll go into politics or whatever Cynthia Nix is doing. Could you imagine going to work every day with that level of open, festering resentment?
I think it really was just the two. It was just Carrie and Samantha, Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Team Cattrall.
I could do a whole podcast about Sex and the City feuds. No, I couldn't really. But
So we do have a running list. It's like if you want to do a podcast with Emma about Sex and the City, Succession, or that show that happens, Dawson's Creek. If you want to do a podcast about any of those three things,
these are all on the table.
And ready. Happy to produce it. Maybe we'll start a network. Guys, we have a guest.
Yay!
It's our dear friend.
Literal, actual angel on earth from
what
heaven.
if she was a literal deer?
She's a literal deer.
But a talking one.
She's a cute little whitetail. This is weird that I'm now objectifying you and deers that I apparently want to fuck. Comedian, actress,
writer, director.
Improviser, writer, director. She does all of the things. Dear to our heart.
Yeah.
Hello, Yola.
I clapped for my own thing. Hello. So I talk to you guys about what I'm afraid of? Right off the bat?
Man. Coming in hot. I love it. Yeah,
She's ready to go.
Well, so we always like to kind of like put into context. Do people watch scary movies?
Oh, okay. I do not.
You do not.
But this was an interesting... Well, so the last movie scary that I watched was A Quiet Place, which I actually did not think it was that scary. And then I was actually telling Griffin, I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of afraid of whatever
Griffin is your
movie
husband.
we're gonna." Yeah,
he's in the room
husband.
too.
He's not allowed
Full
to talk.
disclosure, he does not have a microphone. He's beholden to our whims.
Well, so I told him, I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of like afraid to watch whatever we're watching." And he's like, "I don't understand because you love this like stuff, like you love people like getting killed and stuff like that. So I don't understand why you would be afraid of watching this kind of stuff.
Not to out Emma, but because we are also always trying to figure out what the sense of like how much people are going to lean into the scary thing. So people who don't know you and aren't connected to you on Facebook would know that you created this post that was like, hey guys, I need some suggestions for scary movies. They have to
shake you to the core.
Shake you to the core. And then Emma was like, guys, what have we done? Because you apparently laugh when people get brutally murdered in action movies. Like you have zeal.
I don't laugh.
So we have to disclose also your love of the film, The Equalizer. You've become the Equalizer evangelist. You're known for this.
Yes.
And it's not ironic.
It's not ironic.
No,
right?
it's actually probably one of the best movies out there. But honestly, Equalizer 2 is like better than the first one because there's a lot more action in it and stuff. And then that's why I was like telling you guys like it's like only been in theaters for like 28 days and stuff like that, and it's like
it's already
phasing
kinda,
out and stuff. And then they're only going to make an Equalizer 3 if like the box office is doing very well for this one. And
is
so
it?
everyone
is it
go
good?
see Equalizer 2 for Yola.
Yeah,
you're really trying to sell us on getting there as if it's a personal mission of yours.
I mean,
to make
because
sure that
they're probably going to. They said in an interview that they might like bring him to get to know Denzel a little bit better and his character, and they might put him abroad. And then I was like, but then that's going to be too much like Man on Fire.
Well, so are you disappointed that like America ostensibly doesn't care about Equalizer?
Yeah.
It's not like burning at the box office.
Right. No, and I feel like it's just like people didn't really see that it came out. I went and rewatched the trailers again today. I don't know why. And it only had 78,000 views, which is kind of crazy.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
That's so
it's
little.
shockingly low for
I wonder if
studio
that was
movie.
was it an unofficial link?
No,
or?
it was
Wow.
an official link. Isn't that? I mean, there's probably a lot of different trailers, and maybe I
Yeah,
just didn't
but
catch
still.
the right one. But 78,000 is not very much.
So the reason I bring up your love of The Equalizer is that Emma and I watched it with you the other night. And something that struck me was how much glee you seem to experience in the particularly violent moments of the film. You really enjoyed them. That combined with the fact that you are a known lover of pimple popper videos.
Which there's nothing wrong with.
Which
I
there's
also love those.
apparently nothing wrong with, Emma says.
There's
It also
so
depends-
much wrong with it.
It also depends what kind of pimple popping, because I don't like any videos that include an incision and any numbing. Like, I only like it. Like,
Steven's
I'm only
dying.
like,
Steven
I'm hot.
does not look well.
I don't mind that, but I prefer it if it's just a pure pop.
Well,
Yeah,
that's not
same.
a pop.
A
That's
pure
a
pop.
lance. That's a lance, you guys.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lancing's fine with me, but it's not as good.
Wait.
Yeah.
Ooh. So controversy. Your team Lance. Your team.
yeah, so that's why. Well, that's why I'm not like, I don't follow the Dr. Pimple Popper videos a lot because she always numbs the area and then she always cuts.
Is it an actual medical doctor who's doing it?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's a dermatologist, I believe.
How's she getting?
Dr. Sandra Lee, she's the pimple popper.
And she's getting her own show on TV.
She's also a pink lady and she makes cakes.
Yeah. No, she is like this cute blonde lady who pops.
She's getting her
No,
own show.
No, she's Asian.
Oh.
She's Vietnamese.
Then
Or something.
I think I've just pictured her as like Sandy from Greece.
You've just seen her hands. You've never seen her face.
Okay. Important
This just
bulletin.
in.
Important bulletin update from Yola's husband Griffin, who's
Griffin's
sitting
low-key our
right next to me
researcher.
on the couch. He's typed something into his phone. The words first word is mango worms. He's pointing to a word called mango worms.
Guys. This is
And then
gonna
he
be
is
gross.
pointing to a phrase that says maggot squeezing videos.
This is
and then the
something
next
Yola likes
and then the
these,
next sentence,
yeah.
this appears to be some sort of almost a haiku he's written. It says squeezing maggots out of dogs.
Oh, I forgot. I will not watch that, but Yola likes those.
I am
So
pretty
Yola,
into
tell us
What?
about these three genres of film that you're into.
No. Let's just
I
jump
think they're
straight
all the
to the
same
dog.
genre.
Let's go straight to the dog
all
stuff.
maggot
So
stuff.
there's one person that I follow who works on dogs in Gambia. And he, like, I guess it's like the biggest area where they have a lot of
Lucy's.
maggots that go into dogs. Like maggots, these mango worms
Wait,
are
say maggots again?
maggots. What did I say?
You say maggots. That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's cute.
Well,
I like it because it sounds less like a bad word.
Yeah. Oh god.
Well, so these flies will lay eggs into these dogs,
Yeah.
and they'll so he'll ask all these questions like, does your dog dig holes? Like, does he like sleep on the same thing constantly? Like, how dirty is the blanket that it's sleeping on to find out? And my favorite ones are when they take the maggots out of the nose and also the paws because it's such a small space. So like when it pops out, I think I also am a big fan of those like holes in.
Here's the thing. This is
a literal
you
nightmare.
are disgusting. You're disgusting, Emma. You're disgusting. But like, also, why is this stuff being filmed? Like, is it for
people love
educational
this shit.
purposes?
Yeah,
People
for
love it.
YouTube. For
But is it for
content.
like medical education?
I mean,
or
the
just-
pimple
No, it's for
popping
sick
is-
fucks like Yola to watch it. It's for absolute ghouls to watch it.
The maggot
good,
stuff is
though.
interesting to me because like that is disgusting to me. But I will watch blackheads be cleaned like for hours.
Yeah, it
It calms me.
I think what I really like is I like to see the holes that it leaves in the body, and the holes fill. By the way, so I'm not like
and the hole's filled?
Steven
Like
is
the
soaking
body
wet right
is-
now.
Yeah, because I'm so
not
horny.
horny.
No, I'm sweating because I'm literally, I want to
He's
die.
flop sweating.
I have like good videos I like and I could share with you.
No.
But okay.
Well, we'll link them. Throw them on that Facebook page. Maybe we'll get some weird fucking niche
It is
likes.
very good. I think I just like
We'll get that
I
maggot
just
bump.
like the holes. But the thing is like it's not like as cruel as you think because the skin
Yeah,
does
it will fill in.
Well, they're helping the animals.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
But it's
I want it to
disgusting.
happen. I want people to have a clean complexion.
Yeah.
I want small pores. I want maggot-free paws.
Yes.
I do not understand it as entertainment. It is purely entertainment for you because you're not a vet.
No, I mean I just like it just puts me to sleep. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's
nice-
soothing.
That is
nice-
a crazy thing
It's
to
actually-
say.
Is it like an ASMR kind of like
it's a biological thing. It's like the need to grooming.
Knits.
Yeah.
So it's like very soothing to watch someone get cleaned.
Yeah. And I'm also
alright.
really into chiropractor videos.
Is that just like people's? So in a movie, when like a hero snaps a villain's neck, are you like, good? That's
No, because I
he's
know
doing
it
him a
doesn't provide
service.
them relief.
Okay. Well, it provides the
Well-
greatest relief of all: eternal sleep.
Yeah, thank God. I was gonna say, what if the person is clinically depressed?
Yeah, if anybody listening
We
to this can
should-
break my neck, please get at me on Twitter.
But also,
Let's
is
get
that-
into the movies. Let's get into the
Yeah,
movies.
we
yeah.
should-
Okay, so Yola, you by all accounts don't watch scary movies, but you do have a very dark kink. Let's call or, no, because it's not sexual, but like
I only like murder and gore and stuff if the person deserves it, which Griffin says is very Republican of me.
that's a very.
But
Also, I love Griffin is being so polite. Is just like all expressive facial gestures, mouth zipped shut.
But
So-
he is writing notes
yeah,
that he's going to share with us when we turn this off.
All right, get at those in the comments for this video. Okay, so let's get into these movies. I think I'll repeat what I said before. You are something of a horror movie neophyte, so you crowdsourced these
Yes.
to a large extent. 100 comments.
yeah,
Everybody was coming hard for Quiet Place, and then you had some friends that were going to some like really violent or like sort of like Korean stuff that is very scary. That I saw those and I'm scared of.
Yeah.
But you also had some straight up pussy friends who were recommending some straight up bullshit.
yeah.
that
No,
fair to say?
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the. I mean, I actually did not think Quiet Place was scary.
No,
And
it
then
is.
so
It's
I
a
was
monster
just
movie.
like,
It's not really a horror
it's
movie.
okay.
It's a scary movie, but not a horror movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I read,
So,
I basically went and read the Wikipedia plots of every one of them.
You've sent this message to us. You've done the most homework of anybody who's ever been on this show. You're the best student. How long did this take you?
About an hour and a half. Well, because I had to read
My
through
heart
all of
is
them.
growing 3 sizes.
But like the ones that I felt like were really bad, I like just definitely didn't like. I didn't look at any of Dredge's because you said they were too hardcore. So I was
Burn,
like, probably
Tim.
not.
No, I'm just kidding.
Sweet Tim.
Yeah, hope you listen to this, Tim.
But the ones
I've turned Yola against you, Tim.
but the ones where people like added extra commentary saying like, "Oh, this kept me up. Oh, this attic scene." Blah,
That's-
blah, blah.
that's
like
where you
that.
went into.
Yeah, those were the ones I was like, "Oh, okay."
Good
I could
criteria.
Probably go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I also feel like our home is like safe and small enough that I could see all the
Uh-huh.
areas, so it's like okay for me to be scared.
Perfect.
Good thing I don't have that.
She's got 2 stories. Like there's also doors.
Just
Your
'cause
house
it-
has a lot of doors.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of
entry
superfluous
points.
doors.
So many doors.
But I also wasn't a fan of any. I'm not like a fan of zombie stuff,
Okay.
only because that stuff doesn't scare me that much, and not like.
Zombies are kind of like maggots in a way. Fast maggots.
Human-sized maggots.
I guess it's just like the things that scare me are more like things I feel like could happen in real life, which is also why like I didn't think Quiet Place was that scary because it's like aliens.
You and Emma see eye to eye on that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So give us each one, and then if you can tell us without spoiling, like maybe some critical scene or something like that, now that you know the plots.
Okay.
Maybe tell us why you picked it.
Okay. So the first one I picked was The Witch with the 2 V's. Or something.
Yeah, baby.
So when I read the plot, it didn't look that scary.
Yeah.
But
everyone says it's very scary.
But everybody says it's like the what somebody described it as was like the adult version of Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. Well, Emma, wait, you described it that way.
No. I've never seen it.
I think like your mileage may vary on whether you find it scary or not.
This is one of those ones that's controversial because it's like the art house horror that people were like, it wasn't as scary as we thought it should be, and people left. Or the critical rating is high, the fan rating is.
Some people find it snobby. I think those people are assholes.
Yeah, we're snobs though, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The other one I had picked was Hush. But
we weren't going to include that one, Yola.
Okay, sorry.
I got that one vetoed.
I wasn't.
Is it not on the list?
What is Hush? I guess it's
dead to me. It sounds harrowing.
Hush is really good.
So one of the reasons I picked it was because I knew it was on Netflix and it was going to be free to get. So that was one of the main reasons.
Thinking.
Well, you didn't pick it though, so that's not one.
Okay, so that's not one. I guess.
I want to talk about Hush though. Hush
what
is
is
really
it?
good.
Hush can be one of them. We're not watching it.
Hush is from Mike Flanagan, who's like hot horror director right now. Okay. Yola, you want to tell about what it's about?
So it's about this woman who's deaf and she
mute.
lives in the and mute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
According to Wikipedia.
And then how does she? Oh, okay. And she she lives in the woods and stuff, and she basically her. I don't know who this guy is, but there's a serial killer, basically, a masked man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a home invasion movie where it's one woman alone, deaf.
But why? But do we understand why he tries to invade her home?
Let's not speculate.
Okay. Okay. So that's off the list, or maybe it's on the list, but we're not watching.
Yeah, but that was a free one. I wanted to include
murderer played by John Gallagher Jr., star of stage and screen.
Oh, I don't know.
Nobody?
Nope. Sorry.
All right. Cut
Is
that
he
out.
related to Peter Gallagher?
No.
Yeah.
Then don't care.
Yeah, take your
Spring Awakening
Playbill trash. And
Okay.
Oh,
That's a musical.
I saw Spring Awakening.
Oh well, if you saw the original cast, you saw John Gallagher.
As I part my hair.
So the other one I picked was so if we removed Hush, then we're replacing it with Shutter Island. Which is the Leonardo DiCaprio
Scorsese
thing.
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons I picked it, because I was watching his masterclass and he seems very interesting, and I don't think I've seen anything from him before.
Oh wow.
Martin Scorsese?
That is such a funny point of entry then for him.
Yeah.
But also very good. It's good.
So I had no idea he
It was
did
also
horror
parts of it
thriller.
were filmed on the island my mom lives on.
What?
I'm not kidding.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Hold on,
Every
then how come we're allowed to
episode
watch
of
this
this
one and
show.
not Blair Witch?
Because I've seen Shutter Island.
Welcome back to Island Talk.
So I would be able to show you the rocky coastline of my home.
Oh my god.
Watch your feet. Wear aqua socks. Wait, so is there a fourth one then?
So the other one I picked was Mother, the 2009 Korean film.
Oh, no.
So that
No,
one
baby.
doesn't seem... That one kind of, when I read the plot...
Mother, may we please not watch this movie?
Well, that one reminded me, when I was reading it, of 3 Billboards. So, I don't know. It didn't also... it also did not
talk
seem
about
that
3
bad.
Billboards.
But I'm just saying, that one didn't seem that bad to me. But I'm also very more into psychological thriller things. And another one that I didn't include was Silence of the Lambs, but I think you guys already did that.
We've already done
did
it.
do so.
Yeah.
But I only would have maybe included that because apparently on Wikipedia it said it was like the number 48 of the films you have to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. Let's do a little vote.
So what are the 3 we're voting between?
We're voting on Shutter Island, Mother, and The Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see Witch.
Yeah, Witch, hands down for me.
I want to see Shutter Island and go to my home.
I guess.
Do you want to do a tiebreaker?
I guess I'm also... Wait, Griffin could vote too, right? I'm also...
Griffin's gonna watch the movie. Guys, hold on. Before we do this,
Okay.
we got to do The Witch.
The Witch and It Follows are like the reasons why I want to do this podcast. So like,
Let's do The Witch.
We're gonna watch at some point in time.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person that brought it. Maybe.
I honestly think, Emma, you won't have too much of a problem with The
Okay.
Witch. There's some moments in it that
I think there's a
are-
thing with an apple that is not unlike a pimple getting popped.
Okay,
Oh, I
I'll
read
watch
about
it.
It's
that.
I'll watch
not an
it,
apple, my
but-
dude.
There's a goat in it.
There is a goat in it.
there's-
I have a little action
Black
figure
Phillip,
of the
So,
goat from The Witch.
I read a very sad
Yeah.
thing on the Wikipedia.
Oh, the goats died
A dog dies.
in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, but like movie magic, not for real.
I know, but
Okay,
I don't
okay.
like to see it.
I don't remember a dog dying.
We'll get on that website.
Then you probably don't want to watch
Does the dog
John
die?
Wick.
That's the dogtie.com. Yeah, John Wick, that is like quintessential thing of like people are like, we don't care about body count, who cares? And then the second like a dog is harmed, everyone's like, they are proper villains. Kill them, Keanu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're watching The Witch.
Or if there's a possibility to get Old Boy also seems good.
Ooh,
I've
not
never-
a not a
can't
scary
just
movie.
throw
Not,
shit
not a
in here
scary
at the
movie.
last minute.
Not a horror movie.
Emma's more offended by Yola trying to throw a curveball at her than us trying to forcing her to watch The Witch.
Chan Park Wook, so good.
What is
Yeah.
Old Boy?
It's
It's
just a
not
man-
even really a horror movie.
Yeah, it is just
Isn't it the Korean version of Man on Fire?
It's a revenge
no
thriller.
Man on Fire. Well, Spike Lee's. Wait, who remade it?
Oh,
Man on Fire? Oh, Spike Lee
made
remade
Old Boy with Thanos.
And what
Yeah.
was it called?
It's called Old Boy. I'm like, why? The original is so good. It is brutal and it is unflinching, but not as bad as some of that kind of like Korean cinema that's like, we're going to show you so much fucked up stuff, you're going to be broken forever.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of that stuff in it. It's got a particularly gutting ending. It looks so good. I don't understand why you'd remake it if it's not your movie. It feels so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Weird
Okay.
choice.
well, let's watch The Witch.
I
Okay.
guess.
Let's do it.
But I really think it would be fun for you to watch Shutter Island.
I mean,
with me.
my other choice would be Shutter Island.
Thank
would
you.
be-
No,
We
we're
will-
watching
that
The
would-
Witch.
yeah.
We're
Would
watching
you
We
The
will
throw
Witch.
take that
Choice be
under
Hush?
advisement. We will not be watching it.
All right, we're watching The Witch.
We watched The Witch.
Yes, we sure did.
The Vitch.
The
Vitch.
When we post
Mila
about this,
Jovovich.
when we post this online, do we have? Is that like? Do we have to be stylistically consistent? Do we have to use double V's?
I don't think so.
IMDb uses
Use
a
double
W.
V's. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was.
A lot of people posted as double V's too.
When your friends were suggesting it, was this suggested
It was
like by a lot
suggested
of
like
people?
6 times, which is one of the reasons why I was like, oh, maybe. And
Okay,
that's
so
why I
are
looked it
you?
up.
So you're feeling pretty good. You're glad your friends, 6 of your friends, suggested this movie.
No, because I guess I don't know. I wanted something to like make me not be able to sleep at night, and the whole time, like part of it, I was just like rolling my eyes through it, and I was like, "What?" Like it was just like so slow for me.
Okay.
I
Gonna
guess.
set my own apartment on fire.
Okay, I will say this: it was beautiful. It
Okay.
looked very good.
Yes.
Well, this is
Like-
the central. This is like the crux of the controversy around this movie, which is like people had an expectation of what they thought it was going to be, and then they came away feeling the way that you're describing you're feeling right now, where they're like, I was underwhelmed, or it felt like it wasn't scary, or it never really kind of like came to a head.
I think if it wasn't listed as a horror or a thriller, it would have been fine.
But what would it be then?
There's
like
there is a witch in this movie. There
the
is a
witch-
person riding a fucking broomstick covered in baby guts.
She pulps a baby.
Right,
Yola. It's
but
gonna be
it's like-
horror.
It's a horror movie. No, I
But
will
it's
not engage in
been
any
that
discussion.
bad. I don't know.
Emma, what you're silent on the issue? Is it a horror movie? What did you think?
I mean, I think it's a horror movie. I think it's a chiller horror movie. in
meaning
the
like
sense-
chill.
Like that
Not
I wasn't as
chilling.
scared as like
Yeah.
I am from slasher movies. But I
Yeah.
think most of that is because witches don't scare me as much. Because honestly, I think witches are sexism. And if you're scared of them, it's because you're a misogynist. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, but
Again,
I do think
pulverized a baby. Just
I-
want to.
no, that was disgusting and awful. But there's something kind of badass about witchcraft.
Oh,
It-
100%.
This,
Yeah, no, I totally
this movie makes me hardcore team witch.
Yeah.
It's sexism. It's also sexy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
also,
it-
I would have liked to, if they were going to actually, I wish we would have seen them actually cut off the baby's skin.
What?
Like, that's the thing. You only saw, like...
Yola, what kind of movies are you watching? You know, you can't show that.
Are you?
I'm just
Who did I let into my home?
I'm just saying...
Yola, are you a witch? You have to tell us if we ask.
I'm not.
This movie wasn't gnarly enough for Yola. A movie wherein a witch grabs a little baby's dick and holds a knife to its neck.
Well, to be fair,
You couldn't
it
even
was
really
not
see the dick.
hardcore in the way that... I mean, I don't want to see a baby
No.
get skinned.
No,
I don't
I
want to
do
see
not
that.
either.
not
But I
wanna
do
see a
think
baby
that,
get
like, the... I do agree with Yola to a certain extent. I wish the sort of viscera, like the kind of stomach turning parts, were like a little more visceral. I think like I don't want to see a baby get skinned, but when she's fully doing the like baby anointing, like black magic, yeah, lean into that. Show me more. Make it properly stomach
I mean,
turning.
they showed her writhing in a pile of hay, fucking her own broomstick covered in blood.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to
but
see
what
like
more,
just
like,
turn the light up a little bit.
Can you give me an
Let see
example of like what image that you didn't
I don't know,
get?
like she's licking the stump that's got some viscera on it, and there's a little.
Oh, you are monsters.
Okay, so here, I guess...
I want to be properly turned. Like
You guys don't want a tasteful, intelligent,
No,
grown-up
I guess
movie,
not.
which is what The Witch was. You want fucking gutter trash.
I
I don't want gutter trash necessarily, but for... Okay,
Yes,
got-
you do.
Okay,
is-
Yola's
this
got her
is
phone
what-
out.
The
this
baby
is
gets
what-
skinned. It's gutter trash.
Here's one
Yola's
thing
got her
I
phone
read
out.
for it. Someone said, I just watched Witch like a week ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. And then sub-comment, it's like a scary version of Hocus Pocus. And I'm
Yes.
just kind of like, you haven't stopped thinking about it since, like, what part? Right?
Oh well, that's
Where?
not fair. There's some. I think the baby
Yola.
turn. I think the whole witch sequence at the beginning. So like we were saying this, that's crazy to me because I thought there was going to be ambiguity. Like, is there a witch? There's this hysteria around witchcraft. Is it going to like? Or is there actually going to be a witch at the end or not? And this movie is like, no, there's a fucking witch. She's doing some really deeply fucked up stuff. She flies on a broom in slow motion. It's tight.
Not even.
I'll
a
think- thinking about
I
it.
know what it is now. So it's not that I want necessarily gut wrenching, whatever. I want more emotion and I want more begging in it.
What
So,
are you fucking
begging for
talking
mercy
about?
before you
Okay,
get
so
killed.
have you guys have you guys
More
seen
begging.
Hocus Pocus?
Yes.
Okay, so remember when they captured the first boy and he turned into the cat? They like talked to him and he was like basically like negotiate,
Trying to beg for
begging
his
You want
life.
some like Roald Dahl shit? Like
I don't know what that is, but also at the
I
same time, I
can't
think it's
breathe.
like, but the baby couldn't talk.
yeah.
So the baby didn't even know what was happening to it. So
Yeah.
I think for me now, okay, I understand what I enjoy now, or what
Okay,
scares
yeah,
me.
get to it,
I
yeah.
like the emotional aspect of it, of people knowing that this is coming.
They're
That a
going
bad
to
thing is
die.
coming.
Yes.
Well, you're right. Like it is an interesting kind of surprise when Caleb, the brother, disappears. He's seduced by the witch in the woods. We assume he's dead, and then he just
Yes.
shows up naked and sort of possessed. It would have been interesting to sort of see like him pleading for his life in that context,
yeah.
but you know, I think if you don't know what happens, you get to sort of like fill in with your own demented
Yeah,
imagination.
That's the appeal, is that you're not seeing these visceral moments. So the movie it's called they call it a New England folktale, right? They're saying that this is basically a story that the family in the story would tell each other to straighten them the fuck out, to straighten the kids out.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, it is like a Grimm's fairy tale in that sense,
Right.
where just like this awful shit happens to these kids, and the fact that you don't see the terrible shit makes it feel more.
The child's imagination can
Well, and I
Yeah,
think-
exactly.
I think it's really important that we see the witch when she's the like young lady, but that's like a vision almost.
Yeah.
And like we see her butt and like hair, but like we don't really see her speak or like
Yeah.
she doesn't really have any personality. We don't
Yeah.
really know her. And then at the end, when we see all the witches writhing and dancing, it's like, oh, these might not have even been the same witch. Like
Right.
Yeah.
there are tons
It's
of
a coven,
witches.
Yeah. I think, is it? Okay, so I don't want to rile you up, Kyle. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't want this to be like, let's shit on something that you enjoy.
It is.
I'm
riled up. It's too late.
You've done been riled. I would go so far as to say that this is a horror movie for people who don't like horror movies. because it is like sort of like style and substance, but not, it is like evocative of like another genre. It doesn't feel like somebody who's like kind of like pandering or playing to the base. And
it's not.
So if it was like a horror movie in the vein of like a lot of what we've already seen, it would have left less to the imagination.
So this is the one of the prime examples. It may be the modern example of, oh, that's not really a horror movie.
Okay.
Like people were actually having that debate when this movie came out, and horror fans were like absolutely flipping the fuck out because again, like a witch rides a fucking broomstick in this thing, like. What more do you want to have happen?
But they do that in Hocus Pocus
But
too.
I think it's cool though that she rides a broomstick because it's done in such a fucking dark, chilling way.
Yeah.
I thought it was scary. You didn't think it was scary?
No, but
thought it was
also
dorky.
okay. So here, I think it's just like a difference in like what we find scary. Like for example, like I actually think Get Out was probably more scarier to me than this because of. I think like an image that I remember is like when she was like crying, the black maid person was like crying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I think that like really resonated with me. Whereas I think because it feels like it's more something that could have. I know it's not something that could happen, but like the fact, I think the whole goat
It's more
thing
based in reality.
Yes. I think the fact that like the whole goat thing that was talking, I was like, oh, this fucked it. Like, I was like, wait, this has been the goat the entire time. Like, I think that really just, like, ruined
We should do a quick recap. So, this is Puritan England.
Yeah.
There's a family, a mom and a dad, oldest daughter named Thomason, you know, that classic name. And she is the oldest. And then there's a little boy named, preteen boy named Caleb. 2 twins, Mercy and Jonas. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of the worst. And then there's a baby Samuel. And the mom happens to be... I just think it's interesting that in all of her roles, she's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
All the roles that we can remember.
The two roles we know her
from. The mother is the breastfeeding mom from Game of Thrones. The aunt.
The moon door.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get banished from Puritan society because they're like too religious and like talking about everyone else's corruption. So they move to the woods, build a farm.
Which really, like, to open the movie with the Puritans kicking out someone for being too religious is like...
You're truly assholes.
You're truly a fucking asshole. Like, it really makes that clear.
Yeah. So they move.
What was
I
that?
was looking at my phone.
We have to have a rule. We have to have a rule.
Okay, I'll put it over
Because
here.
it sort of seemed like you were mad at me for doing a comedy bit on our comedy show.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
So then, in a eerie moment, it's a really eerie moment. Thomason is playing peekaboo with the baby.
The spookiest game.
And
of
you
it.
see it from the baby's point of view. So you just see her cover her eyes and then smile at the baby and cover her eyes and smile at the baby, cover her eyes. Look of scariness. The baby's gone in like an instant. And then cut to the fucking witch rubbing baby guts all over herself.
Well, cut to her caressing the nude baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
and
about that. Yeah.
threatening it with a knife.
Well, I think if I remember the conversation when this was happening, the typecast breastfeeding mom is breastfeeding that baby, and we had a conversation. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird. Like that baby's breastfeeding a strange teat." And then, not 2 minutes later, there's a fucking like taloned, clawed hand stroking the baby's belly, grabbing its dick.
Yeah,
It touched its
implied touching.
I
the
don't
baby,
think they
There's some
let-
camera witchery
Yeah.
happening there, but it gets real close to the dick, and then there's a rusty blade dragging along that baby's stomach. So definitely that's worse than breastfeeding a stranger, I would assume.
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
There are a lot of
Yola
creepy
is
things.
totally nonplussed right now.
Yola's like, I want to see that baby begging for it.
I don't know. I know it's like it's
I
supposed
just
to be
want to
horror,
live,
but it's just
Mrs.
like
Witch.
I don't know. I think that just like even just like the witch taking the baby, like I guess I imagined that the baby would be taken like not when they're playing peekaboo. You know?
What do you mean?
Because
what does that
because
mean?
you see the witch run
Yes.
through the woods.
You don't technically see her, do you? Oh, you see her when she's in
see
the...
see her
yeah,
after
in
she'd taken the
after she
baby.
takes the baby. So it's like, oh, so what happened? So can you teleport? Like,
she's a witch.
I know, but
Yes!
witches don't teleport. That's
well,
not a
I think
thing.
the witch rules in this thing, like they can move super fast,
swiftly,
and sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
She froze time and took the baby and then unfroze time.
That sucks.
Well, I'm just saying,
that.
like, anything could have happened. It's a fucking witch.
I know, but it's a witch that uses this like old witchcraft type of thing, and I don't feel like teleportation is an old
But she could have.
I
So
don't think it was
here's the thing: she
teleportation.
does do. She clearly has animal familiars and like goes
Yeah.
into the bodies of animals. So she could have snuck up as a bunny,
Absolutely.
grabbed the baby, and then hauled ass.
Okay.
That's what I think she did.
I don't want to. I don't want to
fucking.
I don't want to upset anyone because I feel like
No, I want
like,
you to-
Am I out of pendulum? I don't really know.
no.
Yes,
like
you are. You're
Kyle,
fired.
you don't have the ability to say that.
You are fired.
We do have secret meetings. Everybody meets about everybody else. We have 20 meetings a week, and we bring evidence to bear, for those character
Oh
witnesses.
my god,
and
that
stuff
would
like
not be beyond us.
That is so. How many secret chats are happening right now?
Well, I have 3 different chats about Succession with only 3 of us. 4 of us
Listen,
total.
We were talking about Succession in the main chat. Clearly, not everybody was caught up, so we had a side chat. So 4 of us, the 3 of us, and Dylan could talk about Succession. Then, of course, you guys weren't caught up yet. So then we did a side chat for the side chat about the finale.
And then Dylan caught up and side
I
chatted with
still
us
haven't
too.
caught the finale yet because I've been working on producing the show we did this week.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't in the show, and so I watched Succession.
All right.
Anyway, so then it's essentially an unraveling. A witch steals a kid, pulps it, grinds, does a sort of
Home style
Yeah.
baby juice with lots of
She says,
pulp.
and then she just, she greases up that broom and does
Flies
some-
off to the moon, baby.
flies around. I mean, it looks cool. It is cool, I would say, subjectively. Where's she going? Who knows?
Objectively.
Maybe she's got to run to the market or something.
The thing, so then basically
Objectively.
the parents are going crazy with the loss of their baby, especially the mom. And then there's a little mini crucible going on where the
Yeah.
twins accuse Thomasin of being a witch, and then she accuses them of being a witch.
It's just
so
like witch hysteria, basically.
the dad, who has a thing where he chops wood when he's stressed, so there's just lots of wood all over the place. He nails his children into a shed with their goat, Black Phillip, who
And Flora, the other goat.
the other goat. And the little twins have said that Black Phillip talks to them. I really believe they were just kidding.
No, straight up.
No.
Black Phillip is talking.
Black
to
Phillip
them.
was like,
Well, no, now I know that. But
okay.
when I was watching it, I thought they were just being little shits.
So do you
And
guys
Okay, what-
think that they've always wanted Thomasin from the beginning?
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's
She was their mark.
She,
she's the
it's-
young, beautiful.
It's a throwaway comment that she's started her period. It's like she's sort of come into her womanhood.
Oh, I didn't
they
hear
are
that part.
basically she's like a prime candidate. So it's all orchestrated
Yeah.
to essentially like get her into this isolated position where she has no choice but to sign the devil's book and become a witch.
And again, like
It's a
view
crazy
it through the
witch
lens of the
conspiracy.
folktale, like this young woman coming into adulthood, like it's meant to scare her,
Right.
Of like
Follow
this,
the
It's
rules.
hysteria
yeah,
about
follow
women,
the rules, or
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
become. I know you're thinking about all this stuff right now, becoming an adult, but if you don't follow the rules, you're gonna sign Black Phillip's book.
Okay, so Yola, I'm just gonna bang through some crazy things in this movie. You tell me whether or not, or you either tell me if it scares you or not, or how you'd punch it up to make it even scarier.
Okay.
It's a lightning round.
I
Put
love
you on the
this.
spot.
This is a great
All right,
bit.
so the witch is now hot. Inexplicably, she's using a glamour.
the baby
Yeah.
juice made her hot.
Yeah, it made her hot, and so she seduces young Caleb and
Yeah.
straight up makes out with him.
Yeah.
Did it fuck you up?
No.
Even seeing the claws on the back of his head.
I mean that part
It was
did,
a
but
jump
I guess I don't know because I guess it's just from watching so many other like witch things, and also I watch a lot of Supernatural, the
TV
hit
show.
CW TV show that's now. On
are you
Netflix.
also
You were not
trying to get them
about
viewers?
to tell me that Supernatural is better than The Witch.
It is a
Yola,
little
I will
bit.
jump out this window.
Yola,
Don't say the words out loud.
Okay.
Yola.
I'm just saying there's a lot more depth of the witches
Oh.
in there. Sorry.
She came
Because
to
there's
play.
so many different witches that have different personalities and different.
You get
like,
to know them.
You want like a contemporary witch. You want
I
something
guess
that's
Have
like
you
a-
seen
yeah.
Charmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love charm.
But the thing is, like, but I mean, it is like but it is a trope that all the witches have to like have sacrifices to keep themselves young.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so that's why it's like, and they didn't even
Not
kill
in
young
practical
Caleb
magic.
like that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
She sent
Okay,
him as
so
a message as a
So
warning.
that did the
and
whole
I guess I don't-
baby pulping sequence.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
How would we punch up Caleb making out with a witch?
And
How
make it
would
scarier
what would
for
make
you.
that
Also
scary to you?
keep in mind this is being recorded and broadcast.
Yeah, people
I don't
will
know.
hear this.
Maybe if he was like tied up and there was more
You wanted
like,
a bondage
saw-
kind of torture thing.
Or you saw that there was more like pleading for his life.
You want the begging.
Begging.
I think I like the begging.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's also why I like these revenge porn things so much. Like because it's just like you have so much like of these people
Yeah.
like knowing they fucked not that the boy deserved it.
Yeah.
Caleb was a good boy. But yeah.
Have you watched any of this sort of like revenge porn horror genre where it's usually like women or it's not like Denzel Washington, it's like a woman who done wrong and she basically has to like grind through everybody who like attacked her or assaulted
I would
her.
Like the
say
movie
Kill
Honey with
Bill is
Jennifer
kind
Lopez?
of
Yeah, I've been thinking like high
Last
tension.
House on the Left
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
classic. I spit
on Your Grave. It's like a whole world.
There's a
out
new
there
one.
of-
I think it's just called Revenge.
yeah.
I haven't seen
Maybe you
no.
need to check them out. Okay, so the shitty twins and Thomason are nailed up in the barn.
Yeah.
The witch presumably alights on top of it and breaks in. She's suckling blood out of the white goat's teat, and then she turns around. She's got no teeth. She's fucked up. Scary.
Old Crone.
Wait, what happened?
When-
that one.
in the
yeah.
shed when
Yeah.
the witch was drinking milk from
Yeah.
the goat's breast.
I think okay, so I think if people were telling me more stuff throughout the movie
Uh-huh.
and stuff, like if somebody had told me right off the bat that they were always trying to get Thomason to turn into a witch, that thought itself scares me way
Yeah.
more than the movie. But for me, what I had thought was I thought it was like a hallucination that they were seeing.
Oh.
And then so
yeah.
that's why it didn't like
It didn't
bother
register.
me because
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought it was like this like lucid dream that everybody was having.
What happened to those twins?
We didn't find
They,
out
di- they,
that.
they died.
But
Like-
I think
We
it's
assume,
crazy that
but
we don't
we
see
don't
the
know.
body.
Yeah,
or-
it is a bit of a misstep that they don't like aren't more explicit with it, but I think that
that witch kills
I think
them?
that's the director saying like she's killing them. Like because when anytime she's around, obviously like nothing good happens.
Uh-huh.
So her turning to them and laughing is him saying like
She's gonna kill them.
She's gonna kill them.
Yeah.
Because
In this
then I was
moment.
like, because I'm kind of I'm in Yola's camp here a little bit, where it's like things that are like symbolic or that are not what they seem. Like the rabbit is clearly like a witch in rabbit form. Black Phillip is the devil. He
Yeah.
can kind of choose to change. There's like all those dead goats. There's more than one dead goat.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is that the kids or something?
Oh.
Like, but it's not. But it's just confusing to
Yeah.
me that it's left like that.
Yeah.
If the goal is to like isolate Thomason and then just like break her down really brutally at the end, where she's got to kill her own mom, she watches her dad die, she's presumably just seen the twins die too. Like, we need to see her like psyche totally frayed before she goes full witch at the end.
Yeah.
So
Which
I
why did
guess-
they show it, man? That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I want to
Guys,
see
I'm
it.
sure
I
we can
definitely
find
wish
a
they did
Reddit
that
post
more.
that diagrams every beat of this movie.
Well,
isn't that
so
what
don't
we're
worry,
doing?
you don't have to leave anything to
should-
your imagination.
But I
They'll
thought
just
that's
tell
what
you
we
what
should-
happened.
We should quickly explain the last 10 minutes after they get locked in the shed and they wake up to the goat. The witch drinking the goat's milk and laughing evil.
Which is blood. at
We
this
see
point.
the next day, goats are dead, the shed's broken, the dad comes out, and Black Phillip gores him and makes him fall into his own woodpile.
Which is massive.
And he dies.
Chekhov's woodpile.
And then the mom comes out of the house and is like, you did this, because she thinks Thomason is the witch. And she is trying to kill Thomason, so Thomason has to stab her own mother and kill her mother. And her mom's on top of her, and she's just kind of like hugging her, and they're both wearing white. It's very symbolic. Anyway, then Thomason is exhausted, goes into the house, passes out, comes back outside, goes
Black
to the
Phillip,
shed, talks to Black Phillip. He becomes a person and talks to her
The devil.
and says, sign a book, the devil's book, and become a witch. You'll get nice dresses and fun stuff.
You get to travel the world. It's a great deal.
What's that like?
And
to
then
live
she's
deliciously?
naked, and she walks into the woods to a fucking coven, and they're all dancing around a fire, writhing, and she's
fucking
happy
rules.
for the first time in the movie.
Yes.
And she's like floating up and dancing in the sky.
Yeah, and it looks tight. It's
Looks
she's, like,
badass.
framed by this sort of, like,
That's the
pyramid of trees.
subversive ending of the fairy tale.
I mean, I would say that, like, for me, I like a bleak ending. I like no promise of, like, I like everybody's dead and evil prevailed. I think that's what these horror movies do particularly well. I think zombie movies, you said it's not really your thing, but they do that really well too. So I like points, thumbs up for the ending, but of course I'd like to see how those kids died.
That is the one loose thread.
I mean, I kind of called it out while the movie was happening. I was just like, hold on, there's like only 2 people that died, and one was the baby, so it didn't really count. But it was like, but
whoa,
there's still
I mean,
okay, hold on. Okay,
we're all pro-choice here, but Yola.
Okay, hold on.
That baby was born as hell.
Yes,
It was a ninth term abortion.
I will just say, I was a little bit surprised that there was 18 minutes left and almost everybody was still alive-ish at that point. Like, I thought it was going to be more of like one of those horror movies, and maybe this is another trope thing that I was hoping to have happen.
This is a trope thing.
That it was going to happen more in every 20 minutes or something.
I think that's straight up not. I think everything that we've watched, limited vocabulary, they do creepy little things, and then everybody just gets like fucking
it's always
thrown
a
on the
third
heat
act
and
bloodbath.
But I also like even when I just like how the mom and dad died didn't seem.
It wasn't as satisfying as like. Well, she has to kill her own mother, though.
I
She
know.
kills
I
her
love
own
that
mother.
because
The
she
father
gets driven
is
to
gored
that.
by Satan and killed by a collapse of his
mother-
own woodpile,
mother
which
slut
is
shames her.
representative of his impotence.
But I guess when what was happening.
Let's punch it up, Yola. What? How would you have liked the father to have died?
I just didn't realize that was happening. Like when the goat hit him, I didn't realize that, he got gorged to death by this thing. I just thought he was rammed by this thing that he had already previously controlled by pulling its horns to get into the little cage thing. And they let Black Phillip just run around with the kids all the time. And then all of a sudden, it's like now he goes and slams
because he had been
into the dad.
possessed.
Well, they think that he's a goat. They don't know that he's Satan.
Okay, come on now. I think we want like a parabolic curve of increasingly more demonic deaths, maybe, where it's like the baby dies in a really fucked up way.
Yeah.
Caleb dies and
It's creepy.
It's creepy as fuck. The kid is a very good actor. He delivers this insane monologue where he's the language is a little confusing, but it seems like he's sort of like exalted in the glory of God after he's sort of been saying all of these horrible,
he's
demonic
preaching.
things.
Yeah.
And after he spits up that rotten apple. But then we get kind of like, I want to see like more witchcraft or more like upsetting imagery. That's why I would have loved to see those kids die. I'm sorry to keep.
This is wild to me because
drum.
you're always like, I don't like gore. I don't like gore. I don't like.
I don't
gore.
want to see gore necessarily, but I want to see ritualistic murder.
Okay.
I think because with the exception of the mom, I love that she kills her mom. I love that the mom sort of like finally essentially like underlines the entire kind of metaphor of the movie, which is to sort of call her a whore and call her slut-ish, which is funny because it seems contemporary.
For her brother for this internal fuck.
Exactly.
Fucking thing.
Explain internal fucking again because this is
it's like within the family.
Incest is internal
word
fucking.
for it.
But I want to see like I think like the monster revealed and then just like really tearing through everybody. Not just everybody kind of being undone by their own pride.
I guess
or
it's a whole.
I like it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing is that this movie is. Emma made a joke that it is like the Crucible, but it is.
The Crucible,
No, it is the Crucible.
It is a scarier Crucible. The thing with the witch is that the witch is not.
She'll
and
turn
this,
you against.
This is, I think, the key problem that people had with the movie is that because the movie's called The Witch, they expected that it was going to be about
The
a
witch
witch
showing up and
is
killing.
Jason. The witch is Freddy.
Yeah.
The witch is not that. The witch is representative of
She's a
larger
chaos
forces.
agent.
Yeah, exactly.
So distrust and
She's she's just on the outskirts, and all she does is just these little pinpricks that set this family that is already on fucking edge, ready to explode.
They are,
and all it takes is a little bit for them to start yelling at each other and fucking killing each other, and losing their minds.
And I wrote my term paper on the Salem witch trials in high school.
You're a New
Excellent.
England girl, yeah. That's your people.
So I think that is part of the reason I like this. Like, we've joked about how I like witch stuff, and that doesn't seem in character, but like this, there were scary moments, but like I was very intrigued by all the witch stuff because it was definitely all about the repression
For sure.
of puritanical society too.
Witchcraft rules.
It's
I'm like
very
big.
interesting.
Yeah.
Satanism rules. I'm like...
Satanism is like male bullshit, though. I'm like into the witches.
Oh, well, sure. But I think of it's all of a piece is what I don't think of Satanism as male bullshit, but that's, I'm not like versed in it. My only knowledge of it is
Wait,
basically
maybe I shouldn't
like,
be shitting on Satanism.
Yeah, man,
Because
come
people are
on.
going to come for us.
yeah.
I don't know anything about it, honestly.
Yo,
I mean, the
You fuck
thing with
with witches?
Satanism, so my understanding of Satanism is it's essentially it's basically atheism, but it's more just like, fuck you, like we so don't care that we're just gonna go to this extra level.
You don't think they actually worship the devil?
I mean, some of
Like
them,
an
some people do,
imaginary-
I think
obviously,
that's
but
that
like,
modern interpretation where we're like,
Yes.
essentially
what
like
the Christians
atheist
call.
trolls. Where we're like,
Yeah.
we're just trying to fuck with you, so we're gonna like the thing that is the
Sure.
it's
version
what
of
people.
you're
It's
like.
it's basically the Baphomet statue atheism. People that will like, they call themselves Satanists. And they'll go to like a city that has a 10 Commandments in front of their courthouse, and they'll say, "Cool, great 10 Commandments. We want to put a Baphomet statue up." And then everybody loses their fucking minds, and they say, "Well, but you have a 10 Commandments. Why can't we separate church?" It's trolling,
Right.
Yeah.
And then it forces them to take the 10 Commandments statue down because they would rather do that than put up a statue of Baphomet.
Can we talk about like the moral crux of this then? Because I'm kind of like, I don't feel like it has like a resonant punch for me. Again, maybe it's because everybody's dead, but like witchcraft seems tight in this world. Like it seems like a lot of fun. You're like in a pretty sweet community. Like nudity's open and embraced. What's the downside? I guess the whole family has to die.
Well, the murder, yeah.
The murder, probably the murder.
Killing babies.
Killing
And I
babies.
think
Because it seems cool.
It seems really fucking cool.
I think the idea is like that she was a good person and she gets
Yeah.
driven more by her family than by
Yes.
the other
course.
witches
Yeah,
to become a
100%.
witch. Like her family fucking sells her out and hates her instantly, and like it's because she's becoming a sexualized woman. Like you brought up, like she had her period, and she's like, they want to sell her off
Yeah.
to another family. In part because they don't have enough food, but also it's like we don't know what to do with you now
Right.
because
Her sexuality terrifies them.
Yeah.
She gets called out at one point in time during one of the arguments. I think it's when, right after Caleb's died, where they're like, "You're tempting your own brother," and stuff like
Right.
that. It's like that was definitely never happening. I mean, he might have that.
Yeah.
It's a problematic sort of sexual culture.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't I don't think the movie was saying that like he actually wanted to like fuck his sister, because there's just these shots of the movie where he's like glancing at her cleavage, and it's trying to tell you like he's like interested in that.
It's just sort of like repressed sexuality.
Yeah,
coming out
repressed
and
childhood
sort of,
sexuality. Whatever. That's literally the only female object of desire in this kid's presence.
Right.
So he's
There was like a dozen other witches in that coven at the end.
Yeah.
So like, is this their MO? Do you think then they just
That's
sort of,
what
like,
I was thinking.
yeah.
too,
It seemed like they
that-
were celebrating her joining.
But they like tear families apart and then
Yeah.
like
I
think
pull
so.
the sort of like lone survivor.
they
out.
liberate young women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
I mean,
puritanical.
Full
So Satan's a
fucking
feminist?
straight up. I mean, she is miserable throughout
Yeah.
this entire movie. She is
But
put
the
upon.
entire family seems miserable.
Well, yeah, all
Yeah.
of them
Just
do.
seem like-
Except
but-
the twins when they're singing their Black Phillip songs.
But she specifically is like stuck doing like house chores. Like Caleb gets to go on like fun hunting trips with his
trips,
dad and shit. But she is very much like
She's like a surrogate, like maid, basically.
right. And then the tipping point is we're going to basically
Sell you to another
arranged
family.
marriage. You sell you to another family to
Yeah.
make ends meet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I feel like that's just so common though. Like that's super, super common. Like even from during that time, which is
Yeah.
I don't know. Like my dad was literally sold like to another family and he was born like he's like 50. Like it was not that long ago and stuff like that. But it's just like a thing families do that thing. I mean,
but
not
that's not
it's
that
normal.
makes it normal. Yeah.
Right, it doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
make it normal, but for like the time they were at and stuff like that, it was just
Sure.
like it just seemed so. I mean, I just didn't think. I don't know. I think the whole thing is just like your life was supposed to be miserable the entire time was like how I thought of it. And especially like when you rip yourselves apart from a community and stuff like that, and then you're just like in the middle of the woods. Of course you're gonna like
That's
hate
why we're
everything.
Team Witch, because it's like it's release.
Yeah, but I also didn't think she necessarily hated her family and stuff either. I feel like she just like had no choice. I mean, which was the whole thing. Like she didn't have a choice.
She didn't hate them at the beginning.
I don't think that she wanted to hate her family. I think I do agree with you, because there is the moment when her mom is like on top of her, beating her, telling her that she wanted to fuck her brother and her father. Thomason is just crying, saying, "I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?" Like, she didn't say, "Why are you doing this?" But that's the undertone of like, "I love you. Why are you making this happen?
Right.
This is you doing this."
Yeah.
And so, she definitely like did not want. She was fine, like existing. She was.
Right.
I don't think she was happy, but I think she did love them and cared about them in the way that we all, in whatever way, love and care about our families. But they do drive you fucking insane.
Well, but she wasn't going to become a witch until they started accusing her and locking her up in sheds and trying to kill her.
Well, and it's also that thing where, people call you a certain thing or put a certain thing on you for so long, and you just take that on.
Yeah.
Because if you get labeled that so many times, then it's just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. That's who I am. Apparently, because that's what is everyone in my world is telling me that I'm that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, we forgot one of our favorite scenes, when the mom is like she's grief stricken, 2 of her kids have died, and then the 2 kids come to her in a vision that's probably the witch.
Oh my God.
And she takes her baby from her older child who's died, from Caleb, and she starts breastfeeding it because this woman loves to breastfeed. And then it turns out to be like a giant crow just like pecking at her nipple.
Yeah.
That is so scary.
The image of her,
that makes me so.
She's in front of a fireplace, breast exposed, giant crow just
nipping.
Pecking, nipping at it, holding a red blanket that she thinks is her child, and laughing maniacally. Yeah. This is a perfect movie, is what I'm saying.
That probably creeped me out the most, just because like the idea of something pecking at your nipples is terrifying.
Is awful. Mm-hmm. So the little twins, when they're like writhing, when Caleb is having his big monologue, do we think that is just sort of like their imaginations got away? They're swept up in the drama of it.
I think so.
Or has the devil actually insinuated himself into them?
No. I think it's a combination of both. I think that Black Phillip was definitely talking to them. And I think...
What function do they serve, ultimately, other than being sort of, like, creepy and then,
They accuse her first.
Yeah, they started in motion.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't understand, where I'm supposed to... I guess that's kind of, like, why I want to see them die. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about them.
Yeah.
Like, if they're innocent as well, and then they get sort of swept up in the hysteria of the moment, or whether or not they're kind of, like, being poisoned.
I think they're innocent. Okay. I think that's what the movie's saying. I do think that I only really got that benefit of like multiple viewings. Okay. But it seems to me what's happening.
Why cast such ugly children then?
Well, I mean, they're creepy. They're creepy.
The boy was.
They're unsettling.
And a lot of it, I think a lot of it is the way they're dressed.
They got little rat faces.
The little girl had just like square shoulders, and she just looks like a little.
They got little rat faces.
Stocky.
Okay.
I mean, someone described them well. It was just the girl looked like a big adult that was shrunken down into a child's size.
Let's vote on this movie.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've all been fairly open and candid. I don't want to have to do this, Kyle, because I'm sure it will break you.
It's gonna fucking break me. I'm broken already. Let's just keep bending me.
So, well then, when you're in this vulnerable place, I hate to have to ask you this, but explain to Yola how we vote.
You can only give it a thumbs up. You can only like the movie.
No,
I'm kidding.
So we have 2 credentials.
Yes, it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. Did you like it or did you not like it? That's the first measurement.
And be honest, it's okay. Kyle can deal with people having different opinions than him.
He's good. He's just.
Am I the most infuriating guest you've had on
Yes,
so far?
100%.
Not for me.
No.
I've loved having you here.
I don't think this is infuriating because I don't want everybody to have some sort of groupthink opinion. Like,
No, not in that regard. For me personally,
You just
I
want-
disagree so violently with
Well,
your-
violently.
Okay,
Vehemently.
I'll just add in this. I think I had extremely high expectations for
that
this
can
movie.
fuck with stuff.
I think
Yeah.
that's usually how it is for most things that are ruined for me, especially when I asked for suggestions of soul-crushing, scary things that I cannot sleep and will need somebody to like sit with me outside of a bathroom.
In your friend's defense, you asked for soul crushing. Your friend said it stuck with them for a week. They can't stop thinking about it. You specifically asked for way more begging and a more violent baby death. So like maybe your soul, like it's like more, it's titanium.
I think
It's
there's
harder
a
to
difference
crush
of
your soul.
opinion on what soul crushing means.
Well, I
because
think-
this movie fucked me up too the first time I saw it.
Really? Okay. I think it's just because I watch so many like weird like things that I don't see as like bad or like it's just like normally people are brutally murdered and stuff. So I was expecting more. This is actually the
Just
fourth.
say it's okay. You
This
can
is the
vote.
fourth
Did you just
scary
confess-
movie that I've ever seen.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you just confess to watching snuff videos? It sounded like you confessed to watching
You said
murder
you watch a lot
videos.
of brutal murders.
No,
She means fictional. She means fictional.
Okay.
But also this is like the fourth scary thing I've ever watched. The first one being The Ring, and then the second one being The Others. Okay, fifth. The Others. Oh wait, and also also The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
So 3, and then that one was scary to me.
What?
And then
You've seen Get Out?
Get Out,
Yeah.
and then A Quiet Place. So those are the 5. And the reason
Which of those
I've
are
been-
scary to you? The Ring.
The Ring was the scariest. And I think The Ring was the scariest because when I was younger, like there was a thing that was put in my head that you shouldn't be watching scary movies because all of the ghosts and the souls that were killed in the thing are also next to you watching it. So
Wow.
I was
Yeah,
not
that
watching
might
it.
affect things.
So I was not watching scary movies for a very long time because I assumed all the ghosts were also watching it with me. So there's also that. So I think because these were like things that it felt like you could touch, felt a little bit more safer.
You want like maybe a bit more fantasy. That's fair.
I guess so.
Yeah, totally.
But part of me, like as I've gotten older, the fantasy stuff also doesn't scare me as much because I'm just like, this is
It's not real.
You've lost your belief in Santa Claus.
Okay.
I think
okay.
so.
So thumbs up or down.
Thumbs up,
or
thumbs down. And then
It's okay to say thumbs down.
It's
We
okay
know
to
you're
say
gonna
thumbs down.
Well, we already know what you're gonna say.
Let me part the
can
curtain a
say
little
I
bit.
put up-
This is for the show. I'm being hyperbolic for
I can't
content.
tell. I feel like Kyle's never gonna.
He's an
talk to
impeccable
me
actor.
again.
No, I plan on hugging you after this. All for the show. It's for the jokes and stuff.
well, don't.
Well,
don't
cut
drop
this.
the act.
Cut this
It's
out.
an audio medium. You have to say it. You can't just show your thumb.
I will say. Oh man! Wait, you guys go first.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
Well, there's
can-
a second part to it. It's also then give us a 1 through 5 on scariness.
okay.
Like 1 is the least scary, 5 is the most scary, and then pick something from the movie that you would need to calm down. So,
Like I'm gonna pick cups of blood milk.
okay. So why don't you go, Emma?
All right, I give it a thumbs up. I actually did like it.
All right.
I know that is wild, but I liked
think it makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
I've liked a lot of the movies we've watched, but I really liked it. I love witchcraft stuff. I love the Salem witch trials. Like I read The Crucible. I did a lot of research on that shit. Also, had goats.
More movies. with
That's not
goats
why I like
for
it.
Emma.
But yeah, I really liked it. Thumbs up. Scariness, again, I had my laptop and we were with friends. So it wasn't that scary to me. If I had watched it by myself, I think I would have been a lot more scared.
Yes.
I'm going to give it a 3. 3 cups of warm goat's blood milk.
Cool. I'll go. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I feel like I have to apologize to you, Yola. I'm like, sorry, Yola. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I am though. I thought it was dope. I've wanted to see this for a while, so I'm excited that we finally got to this point. I think it really had an effect on me. I don't really know. I feel like quite overwhelmed by everything that we're watching, so I don't really know where I stand anymore in terms of like what really scares me the most. I need to have a good long think about it.
It's tough. I find it hard every time.
But I will say, I'm gonna give this a 4 rotten ears of corn because this will. I don't know why I'm apologizing to you, but I do feel like I'm like your friend on Facebook. It's like this is gonna stick with me. I'm gonna have. I'm going to think about it a lot at night when I'm alone. I'm going to think about it like every time I'm in the woods by myself from now on. I don't go to the woods a lot, but it's going to happen at least 24 times between now and death. It'll stick with me. So I'm gonna give it a 4. Sorry. Why
are you apologizing?
Why is everyone apologizing to everyone?
I feel like I'm like I want to be like a good host and be like, I'm sorry, we watched a movie that you brought.
I hadn't thought about being in the woods. It will be scary in the woods.
It'll be bad in the woods, man.
I might give it a 3.5.
All right, nice.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thumbs up from me, of course. I fucking love this movie. I think it's a new classic. I think it is one of the best horror movies made in the past, I don't know, X amount of years.
Let's say
15,
10.
10, 15, whatever. It's so affecting. And I don't know, to me, it feels very theatrical. It feels like these people, I think this is how they did. They just rehearsed forever. They went and lived in the woods for a little while they filmed it.
What?
Where they're at is this remote location. So I'm
Fair
sure
enough.
they had nicer accommodations than what we see on screen. But they literally built that house. They built that barn and all that shit.
The actors did?
Well, the production
okay.
did. The production design on this thing is
great.
fucking beautiful. One review I read when it first came out, this description has stuck with me, described it as it is basically every frame is a wood cutting. It looks like a 18th century wood cutting, and I think that's true. Scariness rating, I say 4. 4 out of 5. 4 giant piles of wood. Reflecting reflecting how well my dick works. It stuck with me the first time I saw it, and much like your friend, it stuck with me in the way that I couldn't stop thinking about it. Both in that elements of it did frighten me, but also it's so thought provoking in its approach. I don't know, to me, just as an intellectual exercise of there's a feminist reading of this movie, and then there's a really regressive reading of the movie too. There's a lot to digest. But even putting all that aside, just pure horror level, there's scary shit in it. It works for me. I love this fucking movie.
All right, Yola, that time's come.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Your mind.
Okay. Can I do a middle thumb?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do
If that's your truth.
Don't lie.
Okay.
That's not true.
Fine. Okay. I give it a thumbs down.
Okay.
But the thing is, I will say it is one of the most beautiful movies that I've seen in terms of the scenery and how everything looked. Everything, it was the production was great. I couldn't help but admire how things looked when they were trying to bury the sun and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a really great picture and stuff like that. I thought that those scenes were very nice. I literally think if I had no hype at all to this and stuff, and nobody told me that this was something that they thought about so much.
It's a cat. Sorry, the cat's making scary noises.
That they
Every app.
they thought about so much and stuff like that. It probably would have been more to me, but I think just I think I came in here already thinking that it was this family feud thing and stuff, and I think that was just less scary to me because it felt like it was an internal conflict thing that was driving everything instead of which I know it was not true because there was a witch in there.
Well, no, it is true. That is true.
It's true. I think what doesn't work in this format is if we're watching Freddy Krueger where it's it is more camp or the sort of tempo of the movie is quicker and faster. It's fun when we're all kind of chittering and making jokes and stuff like that. This is a kind of pensive, slow moving movie kind of until the end.
Yeah.
And it's also like maybe like more introspective. Our format fucking kills it. Yeah. So it's like
that's true.
For me. I'm kind of like I wish I would have. I wish I just would have been brave enough to watch it by myself.
Yeah,
I would have enjoyed it more.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
you might have as well.
I think if I maybe watched it by myself without people and without like commentary throughout, I probably would have thought it was more scary.
C'est la vie. We got to make content.
I think there's a way to incorporate it. I think we should talk about.
No, we're not going to stop talking during the movies.
No, we should talk about implementing some sort of rule for certain.
Okay,
films.
we'll talk about it.
I think it's just like we're all incapable of not talking.
Well,
that's why I didn't want to watch
argue about this off air because this is.
I just think this is why we can't watch the Succession finale together because wouldn't we be talking?
Oh, that's true.
Everybody's too
100%.
funny and can't sit on a joke.
Yeah,
we just think we can't. Everybody would like literally pass out.
We need attention. Speaking of how we need attention,
let's do some plugs, baby.
Wait, did you say how scary it was?
I mean, I would say it's like 2 to 2.5.
Okay,
like scary and stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily think about it as much, and I might only think about it only because I feel very in my head about not finding it as scary. So I'll probably think about possibly revisiting things to think if I missed something.
I think we just have to have you back, and then we'll see something that is
I don't
truly
think Kyle
fucked.
wants me back.
No.
Welcome back.
This is not even funny anymore
because I think. But I think I'm starting to figure out what I enjoy.
Yeah,
so maybe
that's
next
great.
time
cool.
I will bring back more.
I can't wait to see a baby skinning movie.
I don't want to see babies.
I'm just kidding.
Getting
I'm just kidding.
Skinned.
The trick to keep them from wriggling when you're scanning them is pinch their dick.
But I would not have wanted to see the witch like jacking off the baby. I wouldn't want that. That would have bothered me.
Yes, I don't want to watch a child get abused either.
Right. Okay, yeah. Okay, when you say it like that, that sounds awful.
Oh, well, at least we know where your line is.
We now have a third criteria when we rate movies, and it's like, would you have wanted to see a child get jerked off instead of watching this movie? Usually the answer is no.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some plugs. Yola, do you have any? Tell people where to find you online and where to watch you in person.
I have a website called YolaLuComedy.com where you can find my stuff. I'm in The Rose of Emma. We have a show this Saturday. And then
where's that show?
Theater.
At ColdTownTheater.com, and you could all.
We're in the internet. No, just kidding.
It's at 8:30 on Saturday. We rotate casts, but we rotate casts. So this week is us, and then the next week is Out of Bounds. Will
you tell people too about Uncomfortable?
Yes, and then I have a web series called Uncomfortable where you could search it on YouTube. I think it's just like youtube.com/uncomfortable the series or something, and then so you could look for stuff on there.
Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah. Check that stuff out. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I'll plug Pendulum, which is also features Yola and us and all of our friends because we don't hang out outside of our sketch team. We have a show coming up this Thursday at 8 p.m. at the Fallout Theater. And then starting in...
That's October. Thursday the 23rd. Sorry.
Thursday the 23rd in September. Nope.
No.
Okay. So, we have shows coming up in October, too.
Yeah, so we have the Fallout show the Thursday that you're hearing this, and then Thursday, September 20th, I believe, we have another sketch show. And then in October, Saturdays in October at 7, we will have a show at Cold Town Theater every week. So that's going to be super fun. That's our cult-themed sketch comedy show, The Ascendant. That's coming up. We'll be plugging that a fair amount.
Perfect. And as always, you can catch everything We Are Definitely Afraid of the Dark on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at We Are Def Afraid and wearedefafraid.com. There's a new website that will basically be done by the time this episode comes out. We're available on every place that you basically listen to podcasts. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Yola.
Thank you, Yola.
Bye.
I love you.